Yes. That's right.
All right, good evening. Let's bring it on in. All right, well, good evening. Great to see everyone. It's just been so far an amazing month. I can't believe it's the 15th already. It is a special treat because the Winklers are back in town and never leaving. But it's great to have them back. How you doing? Doing good? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's great to have you guys in town again. They're going to be speaking Sunday for church out at the park. It's crazy last Sunday. At the end of the day, I was like, gosh, I need to win. But now today, I'm like, please let it be windy so there's no smoke on Sunday. So gotta hope for the best. But it's just great. We're gonna have a lesson, have discussion tonight. But before that, we also have Elias in town. He is from Stockholm, Sweden. He leads our youth and family ministry out there. Been doing that for 2 years now. And some of my good friends lead the church there. And so they kind of all messaged me. He said he was in town for about a week and wanted to come join us with our fellowship. So I'm going to have him calling up, share some good news, what's going on there, and pray for our Midweek time.
Hello, everyone. So good to be here. My name's Elias Saba. So I'm 37 years old, or 36, 37 this year. I lead the team ministry over there in Stockholm, Sweden. So yeah, we're not a very big church over there. So we'll let you guys know just a little bit info there. We're 170 people, split on 3 little cities. Stockholm being the main, we're on 110, 120. I have 15 teens, 4 are baptized. Which is awesome, but what's even more awesome, which is good news, we have 2 teams that we're starting the Bible with right now. Awesome. And so we have a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. So, yeah, you guys can pray for them. Gilmer and Halvar are their names. And yeah, so what else? We're going to have some team camp activities when I come back. So we're going to have a week. It's going to be a running start. I hit the ground running when I get back. We're going to have a team camp, and we're going to have a really cool thing called an art conference. So it's the Scandinavian countries. We have Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Denmark. So all of us are going to get together, rent half a cruise boat, and go over to Tallinn, Riga for the day. So that's going to be our conference for the year. Yeah. So it's cool things going on there, and it's amazing that we're all over the world. Yeah. So we went to the South today. That's where I found Brian. Emailed him. Then afterwards, I found out that they're changing computer. Yeah. It was like right before. So if you guys are out and about in the world, just remember, go into that website, see who's there, and just email. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Yeah, let's pray. Dear God, Father in heaven, Lord, the Alpha and Omega, Lord, thank you that you're a loving God, a wonderful God, one that cares for us, one that really wants the best for us, Lord. Thank you that you are around, you are always there, you know what's going on, and that you have a bigger plan, a better plan than we can ever imagine. I really pray for the church here in Flagstaff that you bless them with with many more members, with multiplication, Lord. And I really pray that it's always your word being preached. That's our bedrock. Our foundation is your word. Lord, I really pray for the time that we have tonight. I pray that you speak through Brian here. Pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Thank you.
Nice. Well, real quick, I'm going to try to fly through the announcements today because, to be honest, I am sick of doing announcements. It's been a lot this month. We've just been doing a ton of stuff. And so, announcements, the main ones, the Sunday church, we're back at Fox Glen. We're in a smaller pavilion at 11 a.m. So if you have a canopy tent, if you have a table, bring your own chairs because we are downsizing from like 8 picnic tables to 2 picnic tables at the thing. So just come on that. Bring, again, another side item or dessert. No sign-ups this time. Just good luck. But if you match up with somebody, it's a competition. So there's only one mac and cheese though. So just keep that in mind as you're preparing your side items, your dessert. And so that is Sunday. Again, no mission team meeting, official mission team meeting. If you still want to come over at 3, maybe your dad's not here in town and you're not celebrating with them, come on over. We'll be hanging out, having fellowship. We'll share some good news like always. Maybe pray a little bit, just have some fun. But final thing that I wanted to note is, as many of us might have seen, Flagstaff moving to, I don't know what they call it, stage 3, restriction 3 for the fires. And so, as far as I know, that doesn't remove us from going camping quite yet, but it does mean that we're not even allowed to use propane grills. So it'll be probably a lot of PB&Js and other things. But we're going to make it work. As long as we're allowed to go camping, we're going camping. But we'll keep everyone updated with all the logistics and rules on that. Any questions for any of those things? Did I miss any announcements that come to mind for anybody? No? Cool. Nice. Well, let's dig on into the lesson. We're going to carry over from Sunday. On Sunday, we talked about the original taste of Christianity, stolen from Coca-Cola's tagline, the original taste. Just the difference between name brand Christianity versus off-brand, discount Christianity. Right? Original Christianity versus what we dubbed on Sunday diet Christianity. Kind of a weaker Christianity, a fake, a supplement that doesn't have everything in it. And it has cheaper costs. But it's not the true nature of it. And so, Daniel, if you'll hit the next slide for me. This was kind of some differences I noted during the lesson on Sunday between original Christianity versus diet Christianity. The Bible calls us to give up everything. And yet, in diet Christianity, you can just, I had extra, so let me give some money out of that. Or let me give some time out of my extra time that I have in the day. Not giving up everything you got. Action versus just talking about action. Comparing yourself to Jesus. When in diet Christianity, as long as you're doing better than the guy next to you, or as long as I'm doing better than, that person who's in jail, I'm okay. Focus on heaven versus focus on earth. And then finally, do you give God control or do you play it safe? Because you look at the Bible, especially the book of Acts, they're not playing it safe. They're getting out there, they're talking, they're saying, who are we going to listen to? You or die. Going to prison, right, they're doing some insane things. They're living out the true essence of Christianity. And as I was continuing to think about what are some major characteristics that I would define as original Christianity, the idea of love came to my mind, and the idea of sacrifice. And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to read just a lot of different scriptures. I'm going to need 11 volunteers. And we're just going to fly through the different scriptures. Read them one after another. Because we're going to see that the essence in the scriptures that not just sacrifice and love are key components to Christianity, but sacrificial love is really the essence of true Christianity. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to number you off, and then we'll pop on the screen the scriptures you'll be reading. Sound good? I need 11 hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. All right. Hey, why don't you come up with me? All right. Hopefully you remember your number, and we'll go in order. So Trevor, you're starting it off with number 1.
My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends.
On 2? Yeah, you got 3. Romans 5, verse 8. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. All right, 1 John 3:16. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters.
Ephesians 5:1-2. Therefore, be imitators of God as dearly loved children, and walk in love, as Christ also loved us and gave himself for us a sacrificial and fragrant offering to God.
John 13:34-35. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. John 12:24. Very truly I tell you, unless the kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. If it dies, it produces many seeds.
Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me.
Romans 12. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Matthew 10:29. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care.
Mark 10:45. Where even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom.
All right, and then Philippians 2, verse 4. Not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests. Good job. big spread. There's a lot of John in there, but overall, it's a big spread of the scriptures. And ultimately, sacrifice is important. It is a vital component of Christianity. And I think it's the primary way we actually do show love to others. Is through sacrifice. Right? All the passages that mention about Jesus sacrifice, his love, he loved us by demonstrating through his sacrifice. He loved us. You think about, the kernel of wheat dying and falling to the ground so that others can rise up. You think about Jesus getting down to wash his disciples' feet, and then obviously the cross. Right? It is the essence of Christianity. And so tonight we're going to create a list. You got a good hand right? Jenna's coming out on the whiteboard. I don't know if any of those work. These have been in my car for a week, so hopefully those work. You can figure out which one works. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a list. And then after that, we're going to get into some discussion groups. But the list that we want to make right now is, it could be big or small. But what are some sacrifices that you have seen or heard people make for the kingdom of God or for others? What are some sacrifices, big or small, that you have seen, you have witnessed or heard about that others make for the kingdom of God? Yeah, bro.
We had a teacher who would drive my mom and I several hours out of her way to get us to church.
Okay.
So sacrificing gas miles or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, right? However you see fit. So for Rachel.
When I was studying the Bible, I was towards the end of my studies. My friend that was studying the Bible with me went into labor, and I called that day just to see how she was doing. And her father-in-law left her a message. I told him, don't leave the message, it's okay. But he gave her the message, and she called me 2 hours afterward.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay. Very loving. Very selfless. Her service deal took me very stuff anyway. So Merle, most he probably has 50 plus, or at least had 50 plus months at one point. It's going to be a mission of them. And the mission planning, he sold a bunch of different lots. A lot of money, dedicated a lot of that money to the mission. Okay, yeah. That's great. Yeah, wow. What else? Preston.
There's a great couple that's from the Phoenix area that decided to retire and move up to fly.
Oh, yeah.
They could have gone anywhere in the world.
That's good sacrifice.
They were retired from flying stuff, so
I know a couple from LA who's considering not the retirement, considering Vicky might kill me if we try to.
Hey, it's even though. It's even. They took her from you, right?
She had graduated college though. I mean, she's my big sister. She was moving out of town anyway. Trevor.
There's a brother in the Canadian church that just decided to, stop going to school and join that revive Europe team.
Okay.
And he's been out there ever since.
Yeah.
Before COVID, and just still there.
Yeah, there's another couple from Phoenix who went out to be on the Revive team in Eastern Europe. They actually are now back in Phoenix and just got hired on as staff. So it's pretty neat. Yeah.
I know someone who gave up a long-term relationship so they could become a disciple because their partner didn't want to be a Christian.
Okay. Yeah. You said.
I kind of go along with some love stuff. There's a woman I think who sold her engagement.
Wow. What else? What are some other ones? You can go twice or 3 times. Or what's some other ones you guys? Daniel.
When I was studying, the people who were studying with me were like would spend a lot of time, and they're not people that I was in college, but they're like working adults in their like 40s and 50s even.
Yeah.
So just like that giving up, it wasn't just like a couple hours, but it was like days, almost like it would be like a big blocks of their day, of their time, just to like spend time with me, not necessarily just study.
Yeah. The person who baptized me, or after I got baptized, he always wanted to have 5 times a week in the early morning, 6 a.m. At the time, it was really difficult for me. I was still used to going to sleep at like midnight. But I remember he would just be so fired up for it. Yeah. I would not be so fired up, I would just be like pretty much following him. But I remember like that made a really deep impact in my life. Like I had maybe like basically practice it still today. Yeah. It's been just hugely beneficial experiences. Yeah. Yeah. I know a friend of mine who has a morning phone call with a guy at like 5:30 in the morning, just to pray and talk.
I had a similar thing when I was in nursing. I had to be to work at 5, and there was this thing we were doing 5 times with a person every single day. And so there were women that sacrificed their sleep. Like we had to get together at like 3:30 in the morning. Out of like for that. That was I think that was beyond, that was amazing.
Yeah.
When I was in college and Preston and I were dating, the only time that he would reach out was for my 8 a.m. class, I think. And he would take the bus and come to campus to come reach out with me, so I wouldn't be alone. And stay motivated to reach out. And then I think he'd go back home and go to sleep or something before his next class.
There were mixed motives.
Nice. It was nice to help you along reaching out, but I was still kind of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about the person who taught me how to reach out and share my faith. I had, been a Christian for a few months, and I had like gotten comfortable to share my faith with my friends, but they taught me how to share my faith with people on campus.
I'm just gonna lift up Eric ever since I met Eric. Anytime anyone has ever needed it,
Yeah.
whatever it is, drop it off, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we could name off a million of things each other have done over this past year. The Ericksons lending their trailer last year to Isaac. I think about all of us spending the time to get out there and do the evangelistic activities, and join Bible studies. I mean, these are, what maybe smaller in some senses compared to maybe larger sacrifices, but they're all sacrificially loving other people. Any more that come to mind?
When we first met, Matt and I first got baptized, when I first got to school, we were in a Bible talk, and this couple, like we had no idea how much they were doing.
Yeah.
And then you would talk to someone and be like, "Oh, I'm discipled by Paul. Oh, I'm discipled by Paul." And they were discipled by 15 people. They were like, and no like official shepherding anything. That's an element where the father didn't work for them, so they had a little bit of things where it opened up some time for them. But the amount of time they were pouring into people was just staggering. And we had no idea.
Yeah.
And just their dedication to, just really sticking to truth. It was like, you would sometimes bump heads with them, because they were so resolute. But it's like, you really learn to really respect how sacrificial they were, and just how loving they really were. They were awesome.
Yeah, I think another thing that comes to my mind is like people even going into or testing out ministry as an option for them. I had a good friend of mine, he led one of my Bible talks when I was in college. He turned down a 6-figure job to go serve in ministry. only to then end up getting out of ministry later on, and then back in ministry. So it's just kind of wild. But that sacrifice, he loves people, he loves God. What else? Any others? This is kind of fun. It's fun to hear the stories. What are ways people have lovingly sacrificed?
Cooking for people. I got two things, I guess. One, Ted, he loves to cook for people and like will go out of his way to prepare stuff for people. And then the church in Champaign where I'm from, anytime somebody was major going on in their lives where they couldn't, have time to cook or stuff like that, they would set up meals for them. Yeah, and I mean there would be like a wait list. People would be on standby to take them a meal. They would already have the meal cooked. Yeah, take it to them anyway. So yeah, my family, when my mom broke her back, had meals for 2 meals a day. Even with my dad just home all the time, 2 meals a day for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about Bruce joining me to go to Nick's mom's funeral in New Mexico. Of course, we did forget that there was a time change. Thankfully, we were going to be like 40 minutes early, so we were only 20 minutes late. But if we want to, I think, be a church that imitates Jesus, that is a representative of the early church in the Bible, that's growing, that's flourishing, that's living their life for Christ. If we want to be a church that is planting other churches, if we want to be a church that is raising up and each one of us learning and training under the discipleship of Jesus, even having people go into ministry and be sent out, we want to be a church that does these things. Each one of us is going to have this attitude of sacrificial love. It is the essence. It is kind of straight. Like that is the being of who Jesus was. Lovingly sacrificing out of love. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to split off. Now, I just get into groups, kind of whatever size you want. You guys have the power. And I've got 5 questions for us to discuss. And I want you guys to talk through them. I think we've in some ways already covered number 1, but maybe you have something else you would like to share. But ultimately, we got 3 TVs with the questions on it, so hopefully you'll be able to see it in your group, wherever you're sitting from. But I think it's just going to allow us to have some great discussion about our own lives, about how we've seen it, how we've lived it, and how we want to live it. Sacrificial love. So let's go into some groups and have some great discussion tonight.
I wasn't sure if you heard.
Yeah.